The true chosen one life cycle few truly understand. Have you ever had the feeling that you were meant for something more? Not in the way society defines success, but in the way your soul whispers late at night when everyone else is asleep. That quiet knowing that you're here for a reason one you can't quite name, but feel in your bones. I've been there, and if you're watching this, I believe you felt it too. That's not a coincidence. It's a calling. The life cycle of the chosen one doesn't begin with glory. It begins with confusion. You don't wake up one day with a crown on your head and clarity in your heart. No. I sure say. Bing no.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
It begins with everything falling apart. The people you thought would stay leave. The dreams you were chasing suddenly feel empty. The places that once felt like home now feel foreign. It's as if the universe is stripping everything away, and you're left staring at a version of yourself you barely recognize. This is the first stage, the sacred dismantling. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. A seed doesn't bloom in light. It cracks in the darkness, underground, unseen. You are that seed, and the breaking is sacred. At this point, most people turn back. They numb the discomfort with distractions, relationships, addictions, ambition. But if you're truly chosen, you won't be able to go back to sleep. The life you used to live will no longer fit your spirit. You'll try to return to it, but it will feel like wearing someone else's skin. That's how you know you're on the path. The universe begins initiating you in silence, not through ceremonies, but through hardship. You will be misunderstood. You will be doubted, even by those who once loved you. You'll find yourself alone, not because you are unworthy, but because your energy is being cleansed. Isolation is not exile. It's refinement. You are being emptied so that truth can pour in. During this phase, you begin to ask deeper questions, not just why is this happening to me, but what is this trying to awaken in me? The trials will come: loneliness, failure, betrayal, confusion. But these are not curses. They are codes. Each one is an invitation to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. The chosen are not chosen because they're special. They're chosen because they're willing to be undone, to unbecome who they thought they were, so they can finally become who they truly are. Are you willing to let go of everything that no longer aligns with the truth of your soul? And then something shifts, slowly, quietly, not in fireworks or applause, but in the stillness between your thoughts. You begin to feel something ancient stirring inside of you. A memory, a knowing, a light that flickers even in your darkest night. You remember that you are not just a person navigating this world, you are a soul, remembering its mission. And the mission is not fame, or wealth, or being liked. It's alignment, its impact, its presence. You are being called to carry a frequency that changes rooms even when you don't speak. You live in such deep truth that your very existence becomes a mirror for others to see themselves. You begin to realize that the challenges were never enemies, they were initiations. Every heartbreak was a doorway. Every setback was a spiritual recalibration. Every moment of despair was a contraction before the awakening. And now, standing in that awareness, you begin to walk differently. Not because you have all the answers, but because you've surrendered to the mystery. You no longer seek validation, you embody your worth. You no longer chase purpose, you live it. You are no longer waiting to be chosen, you remember that you always were. And that, my friend, is where the true journey begins. When the universe chooses you, the sacred trials few recognize as the path. When the universe chooses you, it rarely announces it with thunder or light. There is no ceremony, no confirmation. Instead, it hides the divine in disappointment. It conceals the initiation in isolation. It wraps the sacred fire in the mundane and waits to see if you notice. And most don't. That's why so few ever step into the fullness of their path. But you're different. You've begun to sense the pattern. You've started to see the hidden intelligence in your pain. And because of that, the path begins to open. Not quickly, not comfortably, but undeniably. The sacred trials begin. These are not punishments. They are portals. They are designed to strip away everything that is not truly you. Because the chosen one does not become by adding more. The chosen one becomes by letting go. You will lose identities. You will lose attachments. You will even lose dreams, not because they were wrong, but because they were too small for who you are becoming. You will be tested with the silence of long nights, the ache of unanswered prayers, the sting of people walking away. But here's the secret: none of these losses are random. They are spiritual surgery. You are being emptied with precision. There will come a moment when you feel like you're walking through a desert with no map, no water, and no voice from the sky. This is the stage where many give up. They turn around, thinking they've made a mistake, but the desert is the proving ground. It's not a punishment, it's a purification. In this space, the universe watches to see if you can hold the frequency of your truth when nothing outside you reflects it. Can you still believe in your path when no one claps for you? Can you hold your vision when it looks like it's falling apart? Can you trust your inner voice when the world is silent? These are the questions that shape a chosen one. And how you answer them, not with words, but with your energy, determines the next part of your journey. In the desert, you begin to meet yourself in raw, unfiltered ways. You realize how much of your identity was built around being seen, being liked, being busy, being needed. And when all of that is stripped away, what's left? Who are you when there's nothing to prove? Who are you when you're not performing for acceptance? That version of you, the unadorned, unmasked self, is who the universe has been waiting for. Then something extraordinary happens. The silence becomes sacred. The solitude becomes your sanctuary. You stop running. You stop grasping. You stop needing the next thing to feel whole. And in that stillness, your true power begins to rise, not as a performance, but as a presence. You begin to emit a frequency that others can feel. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's undeniable. You walk into a room and something shifts. People don't always know why, but they feel it. It's the result of becoming, of burning in the fire of your own awakening and choosing to stay awake. This is when the universe begins to align things around you, not because you forced it, but because you've become a vessel that can carry it. Opportunities, relationships, synchronicities, they begin to flow, but not in the rushed, chaotic way they once did. Now, they enter your life with precision and peace. You begin to realize that you are not chasing your destiny, you are attracting it by becoming it. This is the power of the chosen. Not to manipulate reality, but to harmonize with it so deeply that reality bends in your direction. But with this power comes responsibility. You are now a holder of light, a carrier of codes, a mirror for others. And that's when your final trial begins, not of suffering, but of service. You see, the journey of the chosen one doesn't end with personal enlightenment. That's just the halfway point. Once you've remembered who you are, the question becomes, what will you do with that knowing? Will you hoard it? Will you hide it? Or will you offer it back to the world, knowing full well that it may not understand you? Because service is not always glamorous. Sometimes it means speaking truth when it's inconvenient. Sometimes it means holding space for others even when your own heart is tired. Sometimes it means walking away from comfort so you can carry wisdom into the wild. But this is where your soul begins to expand. You begin to live beyond the personal. You begin to feel the collective. You start to sense the unseen threads that connect us all. And you realize finally that you were never alone. That every challenge was a message. That every loss was a recalibration. That every delay was the divine saying, "Not yet, I'm still preparing you." And now, you're ready. Not because you have all the answers, but because you've become the kind of person who can hold the questions without fear. That is the mark of the chosen one. Not certainty, but surrender. Not perfection, but presence. Not control, but trust. The final becoming, how chosen ones anchor light in a world that's still asleep. You've walked through fire. You've lost what you thought you couldn't live without. You've stood in silence so deep that even your own thoughts echoed back as strangers. And yet you're still here, still breathing, still listening. That alone is proof that you are the one. Not because you are louder, smarter, or more gifted than others, but because you remembered when it mattered most. You remembered who you are, not the identity crafted by society, but the essence hidden beneath the noise. And now, as the dust of your initiation begins to settle, a new challenge emerges. The question is no longer, am I chosen? It becomes, what does it mean to live as the chosen in a world that's still asleep? Because here's the truth most don't want to admit. The real work begins after the awakening. Enlightenment is not escape. It's engagement. It's learning how to carry your light into spaces where darkness still governs. It's learning how to speak truth in languages people have forgotten. It's learning how to be the mirror, the medicine, the movement. And that's not easy, because while you are evolving, the world often stays the same. You begin to see through illusions that others still worship. You see the emptiness behind success, the poison behind comfort, the sleepwalking behind normalcy. And you must resist the urge to judge. You must remember that you, too, once lived in that fog. You must become both the lighthouse and the tide, illuminating, but never forcing, in guiding, but never controlling. The final becoming of the chosen one is not about power. It's about purity. A purity not of perfection, but of alignment. You no longer act from fear or ego or the need to prove. You act because the frequency of your being demands it. You speak because silence would betray the truth you've embodied. You move not to be seen, but because your soul cannot stay still. And this is when the chosen one becomes dangerous in the most sacred way, not to harm, but to awaken. Your presence begins to stir others, not by preaching, but by existing. You become a walking invitation to remember, and people will feel it. Some will be drawn to you, others will run, some will be inspired, others will be triggered. That's not your concern. Your duty is not to be liked. Your duty is to be light. But how do you carry that light day after day in a world that still doesn't understand it? How do you remain grounded when everything in you wants to ascend? This is the final paradox of the chosen. You are here to embody the divine, not escape into it. You are not here to float above life. You are here to infuse life with soul. That means presence. It means paying attention to the small moments. It means choosing love when it's inconvenient. It means listening more than you speak. It means being willing to look foolish in a culture obsessed with appearances. The chosen are not always elegant. They're often raw, real, unpolished, because they are not performing, they are transmitting. And the transmission is not always comfortable. Sometimes it disrupts, sometimes it destabilizes, but always it heals. That's why you're here, not to be perfect, not to be understood, but to hold the frequency of truth so steadily that even those who fear it begin to soften. You don't need to convince them. You just need to become such a clear channel that the energy speaks louder than words ever could. So here we are. You've been broken open, rebuilt, remembered, and now you are being asked to anchor, to become the bridge between the seen and the unseen, to live your life as a sacred act. Every conversation, every breath, every choice and offering. You are no longer chasing a path, you are the path. You are no longer waiting for signs, you are the sign. You are no longer asking for permission, you are the permission. And so the question becomes, what are you ready to embody now that you've remembered who you are? Will you speak when it's easier to stay silent? Will you love when it's safer to close? Will you rise when it's tempting to play small? Because the world is not changed by the loudest voices. It's changed by the clearest hearts. And your heart has been forged in sacred fire. It knows things your mind is still learning how to articulate. Trust it. Follow it. Let it lead. You don't need a plan. You need presence. You don't need validation. You need vibration. You don't need to be extraordinary in the eyes of the world. You need to be authentic in the eyes of your soul. And here's the final truth. The chosen one never really finishes the journey. Because the journey is not a destination, it's a devotion. Every day you choose to live in alignment is another step. Every moment you choose to listen to your inner voice over the noise of the world is a ceremony. Being chosen doesn't mean life gets easier. It means you become stronger, softer, wiser, more grounded, more alive. So if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. If you've been doubting your path, this is your confirmation. If you've been hiding your light, this is your permission. You are not here to fit in. You are here to elevate. You are not here to be accepted. You are here to awaken. You are not here to follow trends. You are here to set frequencies. The world doesn't need another guru. It needs a generation of souls who remember, who embody, who live. That's you. That's us. That's now. So rise not with noise, but with knowing. Walk forward not with fear, but with fire. And live not for validation, but for vibration. This is the true chosen one life cycle, and you are living it right now.